Good morning. Welcome to the spiritual reflection this morning from Deborah's Tree. I'm the Reverend Rosalind Taylor. Happy to share a moment with you this morning. And as I often do, I'm going to start by opening the Word, the Holy Bible, to remind us of the divine's openness to us and our openness to the divine. In my last spiritual reflection, I spoke about the reflection guide from the Interfaith Power and Light that was guiding us to reflect on some important issues that face us today, important considerations in our lives. So I'd like to continue with that because one of the things that they first guided us to was pursuing restorative, racial, and environmental justice, about justice. And so just a few readings again along those lines to maybe open your mind a little bit to what justice might mean. From the book of Micah. He has shown you, O man, what is good. What does Yahweh require of you but to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God? That's the requirement. And from True Christianity, a Swedenborgian theology, following the divine design in the way we live is following the Divine One's commandments. When we live and function in this way, then we acquire justice for ourselves. This is what the following passages mean. Unless your justice is more abundant than that of the scribes and Pharisees, you will not enter the kingdom of the heavens. That's from Matthew. And then there were some other scriptural quotes. And then Swedenborg writes, we acquire justice the more we practice it. We practice justice the more our interaction with our neighbor is motivated by a love for justice and truth. So here again, in both the Christian scripture and in the Swedenborgian theology, the importance of acting justly, of loving justice that we are directly called to by the divine. It's important that we interact with our neighbor from a love of justice and of truth. The Reflection Guide points out that justice and redemption are at the very heart of faith. Restorative justice begins with listening to and empowering communities that have historically been exploited, excluded, and denied equal representation and freedom. So restoring justice to them would be to combat in whatever way is possible the historical injustices that have been inflicted and to bring justice to everyone. They're suggesting that we should hold our elected officials accountable for the persistent racial bias, especially here in the USA, leading to unconscionable harm to communities of color and communities on the front lines of racism, poverty, and pollution. And then environmental justice means that everyone, regardless of race, color, national origin, or income, has the right to the same environmental protections and benefits and meaningful involvement in the policies that shape their communities. The Reflection Guide ended with a quote from the Quran. O humankind, we have made you into nations and tribes so that you may get to know one another. The noblest of you in God's sight is the one who is most righteous. And I think that sentiment is echoed throughout the Hebrew and the scriptures, the Christian scriptures and Swedenborgian theology, that we need to get to know each other and be righteous. And definitely that righteousness involves seeking justice of all kinds, restorative justice, environmental justice, and racial justice. So once again, a few questions for reflection. How can we dismantle theologies of racial supremacy in our culture and in our political and criminal justice systems? Another question. Who are people in your community and nation who you can learn from about how to advance environmental justice and address environmental racism? And the final question, what is one thing that you can do to promote justice environmentally and justice racially in your environment? And so my prayer for you going forward is that you can be opened up to loving justice and acting justly, and that you can find ways to restore justice in your life and in the lives of the people around you. May God bless you and keep you.